The Raiders 24, the Titans 22. Good to see you, Oliver.
See you later, Ollie.
This game still doesn't compute in my brain. I don't know what it all means, but Barney, you can tell us.
They just like switched jerseys.
They
at
just
half
switched
time.
jerseys.
Yeah, absolutely, they did. 5 tries to 4, 2 out of 5 conversions for the Raiders, 3 out of 4 for the Titans. 27 out of 35 sets played, 30 out of 37. 4 line breaks to 5, 37 tackle busts to 32. 14 offloads for the Raiders, 5 for the Titans. 2 forced dropouts to 1. 0 40-20s, 318 tackles to the Raiders, 325 to the Titans. 1 ruck infringement against the Raiders, 1 inside the 10 against the Raiders. 6 penalties conceded to 4, 9 errors to 8. Hudson Young made 33 tackles. Mo Fotuaika made 37. Tapani with 148 meters and Fafita with 173. Both halves for the Raiders missed 4 tackles each, and Fafita missed 6 and made 28. And Mazu missed 5 and made 6. Supercoach points, Tino with 89, Firma with 89, and Rapana with 88.
And Big Mo is 71. Just a fine performance. Who wants to go on?
Well, I'll be honest. I watched the second half of this game.
You should have watched it
quite drunk. But well, that's the thing, right? I don't want to go back and watch this game. I haven't since, so I might as well fall for my 3-2-1 for this one as well because I hate this game. It is one of the worst games I've seen.
Very informative podcast.
Look, I know, but
none of us watched any footage this week. But listen to us.
No,
I watched it.
no, I'm good from here on out. But you know, the first half. I'm on this boat. I'm having a great time partying, right? I thought I was going to go back and watch the game the next day because the Titans had flogged them. During the first half, I've got people coming up to me, hey, have you seen the score? The Titans have scored. I'm getting a bit happier and a bit more dancey. I'm drinking a bit more how good's life, Gets to half time, and my mate's like, do you want to watch the second half? I said, well, you know what? I was like, well, would I rather dance with people and have a good time or watch my team flog these geeks? I thought, I would rather watch my team flog these geeks. Wrong decision because I'm crowded there in the corner of this boat. Man, I'm getting a bit of a crowd during the second half seeing what's going on. And my smile just slowly dissipates. It is the most horrendous thing I've ever seen in my life because I was getting cocky at halftime. I was happy. And then for the rest of the night, I had people coming up to me going, up the milk, up the milk, up the milk. And it was just horrible. Like, it is purely, I guess, as well, because of the circumstances. It was one of the worst experiences of my life, to be honest. I hate the Titans.
Yeah. That's pretty full on.
You had a good life then, Ollie. That's one of the worst experiences.
I've tipped them to miss the top 8 at the start of the year. I'm now sticking firm on that. They'll probably lose to the Tigers this week and hand them their first win because the Titans are just that team who like to do that.
This forward pack will flog 10 other teams from the Titans, but yeah, they absolutely fell in a hole.
How do I? Sully's not out.
Oh, shit.
I'm on a boat.
Doesn't it crash at the end?
To a flip.
What? Where the Raiders got back in this game is they just started steamrolling your shitbag right edge, where Tomoko looked like apparently he's Mal Meninga.
I saw that. Yeah.
And because Corey Thompson's fit this week, he should play center.
Yeah,
let's be honest.
Well, yeah.
Without naming other names, but they just steamrolled down the passage. They found the opening and they got the key to the door and kicked it in.
And then went there every set.
Because imagine a football team playing a team with 12 men and not trying to exploit that. Who knows?
They're up 22-0.
But anyway, they hammered it there. The first half, AJ Brimson looked fantastic. Mo Fotuaika was probably the best player in the field because he's Mo Fotuaika. Firma looked good. Like everyone looked like world beaters.
Tino was absolute class.
Tino was outstanding.
Middle, toughest player on the field.
And then they just changed jerseys at halftime and it went the other way. And young Schneider and Whiten looked good, but like they had the door open there. They knew where to go. They went there and hey, they scored points. Well, what more can I say to it? That's as a result, I don't actually know what to make of the game. it happened.
Well, it's sort of weird for me because I didn't see the first half. All I saw was a great Canberra
Oh,
performance. I can't work. Maybe
I
I
would
should
say
watch the first half or the highlights of the first half.
I would say is I think AJ
like
will be fine at
how-
5'8" is the only.
You know what happened for the Titans?
How?
The first half, I think Fafita touched the ball twice. In the second half, every time they touched it, they were looking for Fafita to do something.
Yeah.
And he was too busy doing fucking nothing.
Yeah. Because they basically just went, save us, David, and threw it out wide, and that was it. But all I want to say is I think AJ will be fine at 5'8". He played pretty well, at least first half. Some nice touches, got involved when he needed to. Toby Sexton's a good player. And so, but
the pressure got to him.
Then
in that last 20 minutes,
played 8 games of footy
some of the worst decisions of a halfback.
So he's also a 20-year-old halfback having to carry a team with a new 5'8", which catches up. Still jury out, as I flagged last week on prayer, young Jaden.
Oh, absolutely.
But
very little impact at all this year, Jaden Campbell.
Yeah. So, the moment might come where they might have that come to Jesus meeting and just put AJ back there for a bit. But, the good forwards look good. Fafita was Fafita. And then they got run down by a team that.
They didn't do anything special either.
No, they
it
just,
was one
just
pass,
beat them.
2 pass.
They just
give it to Tomoko.
They just knew where to go and they did it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of how to wrap them, but I actually can't wrap them.
Well, Tomoko's footwork is outstanding, and he's got a lot of strength for a little bloke, and he did make a lot of incisions down that right-hand side of the Titans' defence. Schneider, I thought, was fantastic. His kicking game, especially close to the line, he got a couple of repeat sets. Yeah, I think he had 2 try assists and a line break assist. For a young kid, as you mentioned, I think he's only 20 years old. It's like his 2nd or 3rd game of first grade. He looks like he belongs in first grade at the moment. And he's a strong defender as well for a half, which you don't find a lot of halves that are actually strong defenders. I want whatever's in the water that Ricky was handing out at halftime for the Raiders, because they look like a team that couldn't beat a reserve grade team in the first half. And yeah, whatever's in the steroids in that milk at halftime, they come out a completely different team. But they didn't really do it in the forwards either. They just sort of matched the Titans in the forwards and then they went to the outside edges of the Titans. Even down the opposite side, they were still making a lot of meters. The defensive decisions for some of the Titans need to be absolutely looked at. Fafita doesn't help anyone at any time in the game of football. I don't know how many times I watched him, 10 to 15 times, I think, in this game, where there was 2 blokes in the tackle. The bloke with the ball was still struggling in a tackle. He turned around and ran back to the defensive line. And 3 or 4 times the ball got popped out and there was holes in and behind the defensive line, because instead of going in and finishing off the tackle, he was too busy getting back to make sure he got back his 10. Like, it's just lazy, and he's a one-out selfish football player. And, when he comes off, it's great. Like, he runs over people and makes line breaks.
He'll score a hat-trick against Tigers this week.
Destructive ball in hand, but in defence, he is an absolute liability, David Fafita.
Jumpy?
Well, look, the Titans have played the same every week. It's just it was second half this week and it's been first half the other week.
Yeah, true.
They cannot play for 80 minutes. But in every game they've played, let's say the Raiders scored in the 40th minute. So let's just count that as second half too. So in every game they've played, they've conceded all of their points in one half. So the first 2 weeks, it was the first half. This week, it just happened to be the second half. So, look, I was shocked and I'm still perplexed as to the game. But now I look back on the game, it doesn't overly surprise me that Canberra scored 20 points in the second half and the Titans didn't score any, because it had happened in weeks previous to the Titans. They don't play for 80 minutes. I don't know what it is, concentration or whatever it is. The coach needs to fix it, or they've got to be penned, because you won't beat teams if you play for 40 minutes. You can't. And for the Raiders, I've only got 2 words to say. The game changed with Tom Starling.
Absolutely.
Out of dummy half, Tom Starling, every time there was a slow bloke in the ruck, he ran 10, 15 metres, got a quick play the ball or passed off to somebody else and they got a roll on. And it was all through Tom Starling when he came on. he's got to play for 80 minutes for the Raiders, although he may not be as effective, but they've got to hold teams for the first 20 minutes that he's not on if they're going to bring him on after 20.
Well, who did they play at hooker in the first 20 minutes? And he was disgraceful in that first 20 minutes.
You got a genuine, very, very good first grade hooker. It's like the Cam Murray thing last year. Like, why sit him on the bench? Why chase 22 when you could actually come out here and maybe turn around to Lasone or someone and be up 6-0 and go from there?
They've got no speed other than him.
Yeah, he's
their speed. And you know what? I like the way they play Rapana. Rapana follows him everywhere he goes, and Rapana's got some footy in him. I know he makes some mistakes, and I know he's not the most likable kind of fella, but I like Rapana. He's around the middle. He's a jumping jack winger that sort of goes everywhere. He plays like a fullback, and I think that the enthusiasm from Starling getting out of dummy half and Rapana off that, and then Whiten did his thing, and the Titans just really didn't have an answer in the second half.
I agree with you.
I don't think the Titans were great in the first half either. Just Canberra were really bad as well. Like, I don't think, like, if you watch the first half, you'd think, it wasn't anything special from the Titans. They had the possession. They sort of had the forward domination. Tino was amazing. And
a couple of nice short passes off their halves.
In terms of that, but it wasn't, you wouldn't say, it was a sparkling 22-0 lead. But you wouldn't have expected them to get run down either. But it is what it is with them at the moment. Look, they'll win this week because they probably only need to play 40 minutes against the Tigers too. But
they'll win by a lot. And old Jane will look like a world beater.
But you know what will happen?
I mean, flat track bullies this week.
Yeah.
And
you know if a feed of hat tricks coming in, so he'd be laying awake.
Well, I've got him captaining Classic this week because I'm predicting.
He'll be lying there right now going, I'm going to get a hat trick this week.
Well, I can't wait to be sitting watching the game and it's 26-0 to the Titans at halftime and I burst out in tears because it's just been confirmed that they're going to lose. But I'm off for Feeder. I thought he was going to have a good year. He still might. But the first 3 games don't indicate that there's any change. Well, you were the one who said, wasn't it, that that game was going to be the parameter. If he couldn't do anything in that one, you were sort of going to pen him.
Yeah. And look, he might come out and he might be a world beater, but if it's horse racing form, I'm backing. I would prefer not to back him, and I think I'll be in front at the end of the season.
Yes.
And even it was just Whiten was the one who realistically shut him down in this game. Every time Fafita touched the ball, within the time he'd taken 4 or 5 steps, Whiten was chopping his legs out from underneath him. And he did it for a good 40 to 50 minutes from the start of the game until a part of the section in that second half. And it's just the blueprint how to stop him. Like, you don't go up high and try to wrestle with him up there. You just smack his legs out from underneath him. He can't go anywhere. So, and Whiten did it 5, 6, 7, 8 times. And just every time he touched it, Whiten was right in front of him and just chopped his legs out.
Yep. Who's pitching here? What's going on?
I think it's the connection. It's coming up unstable.
So I had Starling with the 3 points. I had Schneider with 2, and then Tino was the best Titan on the field by a fair way. Mo not far behind.